Look, if you'd like to have greater insights on our ever changing world so that you can better plan and make decisions for your business, you are in the right place. Today's topic happens to be global transformations, and you're about to hear from Mama Callie Sichen, and she's going to be speaking about a prophetic message that she was able to decipher with her husband. Check this out. You're going to love this program. See ya. Welcome to another edition of Business in Motion, a program that focuses on business and entrepreneurship from an Afro-centered perspective, right here on WMEG Radio, Baltimore, Maryland, the number one station in the nation, with the dissemination of valuable information with no hesitation or reservation, but a dedication and obligation to the elevation of your present situation. I'm your host, RGL Biz Coach, and today you're in for a treat. We are going to be bringing on Mama Callie Sichen, and she is going to be discussing a prophecy, a prophetic message that was on a seawall in San Francisco that she and her husband happened to discover while doing an early morning walk, getting their exercise on. You got to stick around for this one. Don't forget, subscribe to this channel. Also, call up your friends, your family, your foes, and let them know it is on today. Check this out.
And I know, like, your husband spoke about, and I think you mentioned that you were with him, where he was guided to meet with, I think it was a Hopi, one of the top native.
Oh yeah, one of the elders.
Enlighten us on that. What that was like.
Well, we have pictures. A good thing because we visited the Hopi reservations, and we had the good fortune of meeting their elder. He was very famous way back. This was about 1997.
Okay.
You know, when we visited the Hopi reservation, and I've got a wonderful picture of him and the elder gave us a lot of information. As a matter of fact, we have a peace pipe we were given, and then we bought some of the katinas. You know, they're dolls that they're not dolls, but the statues that they make in the image of the different earth spirits.
Okay.
You know, they call them katinas.
Okay.
Yeah, I have several of those that I bought while I was on the Hopi reservation, and they are autographed. And so they are authentic, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And so, but it was wonderful there. We met with the elder, and we also met with the medicine man. And it's really interesting.
It is.
Ando had brought a little what they call gold weight from Africa, from Ghana. Ghana has all these brass weights, what they call gold weights. You know, but it was in the image of the Sankofa bird, and it had a little. The Sankofa bird was like a little top, and it had, you could put things inside of it. And he took it to give it to the medicine man as a gift.
Okay.
And do you know what he said? Oh, that's ours. He said, oh, that's the Road Runner.
Oh, the medicine man said
that?
So
they had the same symbol as West Africa, and they called it the Road Runner.
That's amazing.
And we call it the Sankofa bird.
Right.
The bird that looks behind him while he runs forward. In the symbology meaning, always go. You can always go back and retrieve what you lost.
That's right. Return to your future.
The Sankofa bird. they say return and fetch it.
Right.
That's the short version, that you can actually go back and retrieve whatever you've lost.
Yes. And now from meeting with that group, the Hopis, and I think you were directed maybe to go to Ethiopia, and in Ethiopia you met with another priest. Could you elaborate on that and that message?
The Ethiopian, that came first.
Oh, the Ethiopian was first. Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
we got a fax from Ethiopia in 1993, even before the wall.
Mm-hmm.
We got a fax from 1993 from a medical doctor in Ethiopia. You see, what my husband and I had done is that we had organized many countries. I think that before it was all over, we had organized about 30 African countries to be a part of a group that we called International Association of now you know I know that name. International Association of Medical Technicians and Medical Technicians and Researchers. Anyway, IOTMPR. Okay, International Organization of Traditional and Medical Practitioners and Researchers. Okay, so we had put out a few magazines under that banner, and one ended up in the American Embassy in Ethiopia.
Okay.
And this is where the doctor got our name and got a hold of us and started sending messages that there was a priest in the high hills of Ethiopia, right there at the mouth of the Blue Nile. I think it was the Blue Nile.
Mm-hmm.
And he wanted us to come because he had a message for us.
Okay.
And so, from 93, I think we went there in 96 because you don't just turn around and dime. And then the cosmic prophecies have popped up too. And so we went in 96 and we stopped in Egypt. And this is one thing that shows you how unfair. I don't even want to use another word. That the media is to our people who actually discover something. Okay?
Right.
We were at Imhotep Pyramid on the Giza Plateau in Cairo, Egypt. We had to stop there on the way to Ethiopia. Now, we're on our way to Ethiopia because the priest had said, come, I have a message. And so we're there, and, it's a desert. There's nothing there. There's no plant, no tree, nothing.
Mm.
And so I saw this little speck of green. It was about 100 yards away from Imhotep Pyramid.
Okay.
And so we decided that we would go look for, collect it because that's what we did. We collected plants.
Okay.
But we were really, really skeptical because first it's the only plant there. And then it was covered with blotches of white sticky stuff. And we didn't know what it was. And so, you say, well, hey, I could be putting my hands on something poison.
That's right.
Or don't know what it is. But we decided to take a risk since it was the only green thing around. And so when we took it to the University of Cairo, to the herbarium there, and the herbarium keeper he went to the same school Ando went to in England, and so they were already comrades.
Okay. Right.
And so he says, this is this white stuff on this plant is the biblical manna, the manna of the Bible.
Wow.
And he says, well, it only falls every 200 or 300 years.
Whoa.
Because as is, in the Bible, they say that when Moses had taken the people out to the wilderness, and they were starving and wished they could go back into slavery so they could eat. Does that sound familiar to you?
Yes.
So God said, okay, well, I'll give you manna. And that's the manna.
Wow, that's amazing.
And it was on this particular plant called Tamarisk nilotica. Now, this particular tamarisk was also that stick that Moses used and threw down and turned to a snake, and he was able to prophesy.
Mm-hmm.
You know that scene.
I remember reading it. Yes.
Yeah. In the Bible. Yeah. So this was the plant that this manna was growing on.
Mm-hmm.
You see, and so we got official. That was really you can't get better than a herbarium keeper at the main university in a country to actually tell you the name of a plant, because he certainly would know.
That's right.
And that's the reason why we would always go to the universities when we had collected plants in a particular country, because you want to get a positive identification of what the plant is. There's, so many look-alike,
Mm-hmm.
And so we continued our journey. I like to, burned up in the Egyptian desert. And then when we got to Ethiopia, they had to get us a coat. I didn't
wow.
need a coat because it was cold.
Uh-huh.
Because Ethiopia is very high in the mountains.
Okay.
And it was the rainy season. And this is July.
Okay.
Because, and it was a rainy season. And just like San Francisco, it's cold in July.
That's right.
Ethiopia is the same. It's cold, way up in the mountains. So now, it will clear sometimes and warm up toward the end of the day, somewhat like it does sometimes in San Francisco.
Right.
If you're lucky. But it's pretty chilly in the summertime. I mean, it's pretty chilly in the summertime.
Mm-hmm.
In Ethiopia. So they went and got me a coat because I was dressed for the Egyptian desert, but I was not dressed for Ethiopia. Nobody told me.
Mm-hmm.
And so when we went to see the high priest, we could only get within a mile of where he was, because you had to climb the mountain to get to him and his village. It was way up.
Okay.
And so, we climbed up there and sat down. And when we sat down, it was like bamboo bench, and little huts made from natural fiber. And they were all around in a circle. And we sat down on the beach, and all the animals came to sit around us. It was really interesting. And then the priest came, and he had a very brief message for us. He said that we should return to America and tell the indigenous people, the indigenous women.
All right.
The women in the African diaspora that we would be the ones who would change the world
Wow.
in the coming days. And so we came back and we told people, but people weren't interested. You know, we are going into a matriarchy. That's another thing that this birthing of the Aquarian age, we're
Right.
going back to the matriarchy and leaving this patriarchy behind, you know. And of course, what people don't understand is even today, most indigenous cultures actually are matriarchal.
I got you.
Because they put women in charge, because first of all, women aren't going to go out there and start no war. And the first thing that the women will do is do everything to protect the children.
There you go.
And so this is one of the reasons why women have been rulers in most of the indigenous cultures. Like, for instance, American Indians. Big Mama was always the one who made the decisions. You know what? Everybody knew that Big Mama said it. Forget it. Everybody got to do it. I don't care who you think you were. You know. But anyway, you know. So like in the indigenous cultures here in America, you know, they're matriarchal, and the women actually are considered the landowners. They cultivate the land, they bring the food, and they are the ones who decide what is to be done with the land. Now, what this does as far as so-called treaties here in America, you know, the men they say signed treaties, which we're not sure if that was true or not, and certainly weren't our people. That's not how we dealt, you know. But men can't sign treaties about land in the Americas because they have no dominion over the land. It's in the hands of the women.
Okay.
And the women would never do that. And so they would never sign the land over. And even in Ghana, West Africa, you've got that king with all that gold on, but he can't do anything unless Big Mama tell him, you know, the Queen Mother.
Right.
He has to go to the Queen Mother. And the Queen Mama say, no, you can't do that. He can't do it.
Then he can't do it.
You know, and so this is something that patriarchy really despised, because they didn't want women telling them. And we got a whole lot of old folks that still that. You know, they see, because they don't understand that women are not going to bring harm.
Now, let me ask you this. Like, right now in America, African-American women are number one. They're the number one segment of the total population for those who are becoming, or who are those who are gaining education, you know, going through the system. Now, would you say that this is indicative? I mean, is this indicative of what the Ethiopian, the priest, was saying? You know, wouldn't there, you know, it's like I can see a correlation there. You know, what's your thought on that?
Oh, now, what were you saying, that African Americans are what now?
African American women, right now, in America, they're the number one segment of the population for being educated. And
yes, and not only that, running most of the big cities, too.
Absolutely. Absolutely. From Washington, D.C.
You want my take on that?
Yes.
Because they knew that, you know, these powers that be, the demons, the dragons, the Satans, because they knew that the indigenous women would rise, they preempted and went and got our women who don't know better, and put them in positions to do their bidding. Now, that's the way I see it.
Okay.
Because, see, so many of our women are so miseducated. You know, I mean, you go to college, they give you the Rockefeller education, which means you may not ever learn anything that's real or truthful about yourself.
Okay.
And you're indoctrinated into this system. And so that's all you know. But you've got the highest degree in this false indoctrination.
Wow. Interesting.
You know?
Yes, I do.
And so you think you got it going on. And then you go and you actually join a sorority, which is dedicated to keeping the so-called powers that be in place. They call them gatekeepers.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope I'm not stepping on nobody's toes, but most
No,
of
you're cool. You're good.
I shouldn't say most, but many of our educated women and men belong to sororities and fraternities, and they have no idea that those sororities and fraternities were put in place to keep the powers that be in place, just like the Rockefellers. You know, Spelman College is named after Rockefeller's wife.
To maintain the status quo.
To maintain the status quo. So in knowing that, because they know astrology, what was that guy's name? I think Warren Buffett said this. Oh, was it Warren Buffett? No. J.P. Morgan.
Okay.
He said that millionaires don't use astrology. He says billionaires do.
Wow. Billionaires
That's
use
what
astrology.
J.P. Morgan said.
Oh, okay.
You know,
Interesting.
so because millionaire, you thinking small, but billionaire, you want to make sure you check all of the, cross all the T's and, dot the I's. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
and
I do.
The right day and the right star. And so, that's what J.P. Morgan said. Billionaires are the ones that use astrology, but nevertheless, so this is my take on why our women have been put in those positions.
Okay.
To do the bidding of those powers that want to cling on. And I call them now powers that used to be, because that spell is almost broken. But we have to be careful because, see, we've got those people who are in charge of our cities who have no idea who they are.
Right.
Have no idea. Can I give you an example?
Sure.
Okay. I was listening to the radio station one afternoon, the Black Talk radio, so-called Black Talk radio here in Atlanta. And, what's the guy's name? He's got this MSNBC, the black guy. He's got this organization. And he's on MSNBC too. Sharpton.
Okay.
Sharpton.
Al Sharpton?
So Sharpton was on, and he's talking to the young lady who is the head of the youth division of Sharpton's organization. What is it called? I forget. The name of Sharpton's organization.
I don't even know it. I don't know. I know Al Sharpton very well, but I don't know the name of his organization.
Well, his organization. She is the youth coordinator for the whole country. Okay.
Okay.
So she had just graduated from Spelman, And so a caller called in and asked her about the black code laws.
All right.
Okay?
Right.
She never heard. She had never heard of the black code laws.
Now that's pathetic.
And she graduated from Spelman with honors. And they never told her. Well, of course, why would they?
Right, but
they
so
want
many.
her to be indoctrinated into red, white, and blue. God bless America, stand beside her, wave your flag, all of that, and all the indoctrination.
Right.
Which isn't even true. And the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands. What do they always tell us? Our democracy, our democracy.
Right.
Yeah, they overthrew the republic. Way back with what's his name? What's the guy's name? Abraham Lincoln.
Okay.
The republic was overthrown.
Wow. Well, I'll tell you what,
but they still got the children saying that.
Yep, they're still saying it. I know I had to learn it going through school, and I know they're still saying it. But what I want you to do, because our time is getting, I only got about 2 or 3 more minutes. If you can let the listeners know how they can you can tell them if you have services, if you're still providing those services, and how they can contact you.
Okay, my name is Kali, Kali, Sichen, S as in Sam, I-C-H-E-N. And if you Google that name, you will find me. My web address, which is under construction right now, is northscaleinstitute.com. That's North, N-O-R-T-H, scale, and that's one word, S-C-A-L-E, and then institute.com. Okay, but there is a phone number you can use to reach my office. Actually, my granddaughter is in charge of that office now, because basically I'm doing more writing than anything else, But, the telephone number is 404-767-4786. And I'm so happy my granddaughter has taken over the herb business. The herb business website is herbaful.com. That's HERBAFUL. Herbaful.com. You can go there and you can actually order healing herbs for your body, mind, and spirit. And so be sure to contact me within the next few days. In fact, probably by next week this time, my website will be completed. I have some of my students are coming here over the weekend, and I think they're going to work on my website for me. I'm approaching 80 years old,
Wow, yeah. I tell you, but you are sharp. Mama Kelly, you're super sharp. And I tell you, this has just been a blessing being able to bring you onto this program. You're enlightening the listeners. I mean, because this is not information that, you just can't turn on television and get this. They're not putting those things on the various news networks or that are out there. And it's just so few people who are totally in tune with these things that you're speaking of. And that's why, I was just so committed to bringing you on. And again, thank you so much for coming on and being a guest on this program today.
Oh, well, thank you so much for inviting me to come. And I certainly hope I didn't scare anybody off. Sometimes it's easier to swallow the lie than to face the truth,
Absolutely. All right. So I will reach out to you and I'll contact you. And,
do you have a recording?
Yeah, this is going. This we're going. This.
Oh,
will-
you have to share that with me, okay?
Oh, you're gonna share. I'm gonna send you the link. I have to send it to the doctor when I finish. You know what I'm saying? We equalize sound, and I send it to my virtual assistant, and she does her thing with it. And I'll send you that immediately. You know, once I have that, when the sound and everything is good, when it's all equalized, so you can have a very
Okay.
good X over this.
All right.
All
Thank
right.
you very
Peace
much.
and blessings. Okay. Very good. So there it is. You heard it again. That is Mama Callie Sichen L. And I'm telling you, what you heard is just the tip of the iceberg. This lady is so indoctrinated. She has so much information, good information that is relative. So I would highly advise any of you, if you're in need of herbals, if you want to read her books or whatever, definitely reach out to her and contact her and place your order. You will be happy that you did. And I will say until next week, but before I even say until next week, make sure if you want to capitalize on any of the services that are being provided, you know, coming through here, or coming through my Platinum Dynamic Institute or the Business in Motion, make sure you go to motion.com. Go there, check it out, and from there, you know, you can see the different services, and you can actually be linked to some of the other websites. We even have the free college courses and all of that, which I'll get into even more of that in an upcoming show. But until then, I'm signing off. I will see you next week. Ciao, ciao.